Hi, you guys. It's Mary Ann, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at Portland Cemetery at 8:30. So, what are we going to do there? First of all, we are going to make inferences. Inferences is where we take two facts and make a conclusion. And facts could be personal observations. So they could be, we're looking at the headstone, we see some flowers, maybe they're alive. I know it's December, but let's just run with it, okay? We see some flowers, they're very well alive. We see another headstone where the flowers are dead and everything is overgrown and it's just looking like a hot mess. We're looking at those observations. We're not making any conclusions quite yet. We also, facts can also be our personal background information, like stuff from personal experience. I know from personal experience that flowers die if you don't take care of them. So those are also considered facts. And then researched information. So hopefully you can do this before, you can do it as a group. I don't care. Just do some research before we go there, because you're going to need some information to make these inferences, which is the whole point of the cemetery project. And now what's the big deal about inferences? So while you guys were writing your essays, even in 122, you're going to get this in 122. We don't want to just spit back facts. And I know that I believe that wasn't spit back facts, but we have had the environment essay, we've had the technology essay, and you have a lot of facts in there. But I also wanted you to come to your own conclusions, your own deductions, and share, you have all this information. What are your thoughts? I don't want you to just spit it back out in the essay. I want you to, what does this mean? Why is this important? What does this mean to me in my life? And that's what inferences are, that you draw conclusions from the facts. And so when we get into 122, that's going to become even more of a requirement. And so I want you to get that practice, okay? I want you to get that practice. So here's an example. So we got good old Ben McCullough. All right, here's Ben, that's his name. He's got a nice little cross up here. There's some facts written on here. When he was born, 48, when he died, 69. So when I have you do some research, you're going to do research as far as when these wars occurred. So you're going to have that information on hand, okay? And then you're going to look at this headstone and say, oh, okay, even if it didn't say Vietnam, you know that the Vietnam War occurred from 1955 to 1975, because that's what the internet said. And, you're going to find that out. So the fact is that the Vietnam War went on from 1955 to 1975. We also have a fact that he died in 1969. Well, there we go. It's a fact because we're looking at it. He served in the Vietnam War. That is a fact, which is right here because it says. So we are looking at it. Then we have a fact or an inference. We do some calculations in our head. So if he was born in 48 and he died in 69, if we subtract that, it equals 21 years old. And so what you might infer is that the Vietnam War caused good old Ben McCullough's death. And this was inferred from a logical conclusion. One, he was of soldier age. He was 21, and he died during the Vietnam War, which went from 55 to 75. And so he died in 69, which was before the Vietnam War ended, and he was 21. So when you do these war inferences, you got to make sure that that soldier was of soldier age. Like, you can't assume some 60-year-old who died during the war, who has a nice little flag next to his headstone, died during the war because he's 60 years old. They don't take soldiers who are 60, and unless I'm not, we'll just keep going. Inference example number 2. I don't know if you can read this, but this says Sarah May, and this says William Thayer. Sarah May and William Thayer. And the dates say August 17th, 1877, October 16th, 1877, August 15th, 1878, and November 8th, 1878. So the fact is there's 2 names and 2 birth and death dates are on this headstone. Another fact is that Sarah May, or inference, because we're taking two things and coming to a conclusion. We're calculating in our head. Sarah May lived 2.5 months and William Thayer lived 2.75 months. And so, you know, they were both very young children, very young babies. And from previous experience, by learning math, I know that the birth year subtracted from the death date equals these numbers of months lived. And then the inference is that Sarah and William are siblings, because usually tradition has a husband and wife or partners buried next to one another, but perhaps in single graves, or their names are on a single headstone. And so people might assume maybe they were a husband and wife, but when you do the calculations, the logical assumption is that they were not married, and yet they probably were siblings. So yeah, it's a logical conclusion. So there's three steps to the cemetery project. One is complete historical research. You already saw that slide. I'll go over it in a minute. We're going to visit a cemetery. Just by showing up, you get 25 points. All right, just by showing up. And then the other 25 points is to create a multimodal project, which I will go over that in a minute. So 25 points for historical research, 25 points for visiting a cemetery, and 25 points for creating a multimodal project with 5 inferences total. So do this research. You shouldn't, honestly, just look up on Google. You'll be fine. Just even if you, do it, just make sure you have it when we go to the cemetery, because you need those dates so that you can know which soldiers died during what war, if you care to make those kind of inferences. This stone information is helpful too, because there's 3 different kinds of stones used for headstones. One's limestone and it just crumbles. There's granite and there's marble. Granite is the strongest. Marble is the next, is in between limestone and granite. So, you know, why was limestone used back in the day? And why is granite used a lot now? But in the meantime, what's the Star of David symbolize? What does a cross symbolize? What does a crescent and a star symbolize? So there are going to be some symbols on these headstones, and using this knowledge that you're going to research, you can come to some conclusions. Seriously. So we'll go as a group. If you can't make it, you're going to go by yourself and give me a selfie. Prove to me that you went. And then here's a list of multimodal assignments. And then some students have given me some resources that they have used in the past, and I'm just sharing them with you because why not? I mean, make this as easy as possible on you guys. So one's an illustrated essay. That would be an essay with pictures, but it's more of a narrative. Like, hey, Miss Cost made us go to this dang cemetery, and we walked around in the middle of the snow because it's freezing out, and we had to look at headstones. And this is what I came upon. So I'll give you an example of, well, actually, we can just click the thing right here. So this is good old Owen, and he's actually from Potterville. So you might just know him. Who knows? Anyways, so he went to Pinch Cemetery, and there was his proof. And then he just talks about the cemetery, a little bit of background on that. And then, you know, my first inference is about blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I traipsed over here, and then he just talks. It's more like a story. What did you do? But a lot of people do, what I have found is a lot of people end up doing websites, which is great. So I will go back over here and show you a website. Let us click that one. Let's see what that one is about. So I tried doing the website one. I can't help you out, sorry, but I tried. And so anyways, here's home, here's the cemetery, a little bit about the cemetery. Here's his background information. And they had a different requirement. They had to interview a funeral home representative. We're not doing that. And then here are his inferences. So he has, the gentleman passed away in 1957. That's one fact, plus the fact that the Asian flu pandemic occurred in 57. Chances are that he passed away from the Asian flu. Okay. So, you know, there we go. That's it. The fact plus fact equals inference. Fact plus fact equals inferences. And then here's another picture and a gravestone. So, and then he even did his sources, which are just, lovely, which is fantastic. So here's another one I want to show you. This is Cassie's, I think. Okay, so she went to Pine Grove. A little bit of history, information. There's Cassie right there. Her questions. Again, they had to interview a funeral home representative. I have used up my funeral home representatives. So that's why you guys aren't emailing them, because they have been bombarded with students like crazy. So you guys just don't have to do that. Plus, you've been sending me emails that have been very professional, and that was the whole point of it. And here are Cassie's inferences. So picture, she's got a fact, fact, inference. Fact, fact, inference. There we go. Fact, fact, inference. So yeah, just 5 of those. So there's that. If you do a PowerPoint, I'm going to tell you, it does not count. I mean, it will count, but you have to narrate that thing. Just like I'm doing with this video, you've got to narrate it. You have to talk about the project and give it a verbal thing. That's why it's a multimodal, because it's verbal and written. This is a website. It's written and it's media. So it's got to have 2. With Owen's illustrated essay, there's pictures and there's writing. So he did both. So just think about that, please. And then I think that's it. And this is just an extra. If you put your pictures of the headstone on this website, that might be good community service for all you NHS people. I found this video, or I'm sorry, this song about cemeteries. Here's an article about a girl who cleans graves. And then why in the heck are we doing this? Is because the explanation and the objectives are here. So I really feel that students need to be taken out of the classroom to learn. And this is my way of doing that. Yes, it's cold. We'll just bundle up. And if you guys have any questions, I text back. So please do that. If you email, it's going to take a minute because I don't have that on my phone. So it's going to take a minute. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great night. And don't forget to bring these dates and these answers to the cemetery, please, because it will help you immensely. And then make sure your phone is charged because you're going to be taking pictures. Okay. So anyways, I hope you have a great day and talk to you later.